Hello and welcome to episode 30 of The Endless Stream. I'm Aidan and this week I'm joined by Kevin and Brian. Each week we take some of the endless stream of content brought to you through Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney+, Netflix, Spotify, YouTube. Wherever you get your content, we're going to watch a chunk of it and we're going to talk about it. Given the nature of these conversations, they are very spoiler heavy, so if you have not seen the finale of What If, and if you have not watched Train to Busan, go and have a look at them. Those are our key subjects this week. If you like what you hear, please give us a like and comment on iTunes or subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Anything you can do to just show the world you like the Endless Stream would really help us out. If you want a little extra content, head over to Instagram at The Endless Cast. We make videos and do illustrations there to go with the podcast. While you're there, you can add a comment and you can disagree with us. You can tell us your opinion of the show we're watching, or you can suggest something for us to watch. In that vein, you can also send us an email at theendlesscast@gmail.com. All that being said, let's get into the episode. Week 2 of spooky season, and this week we are following up Hereditary with Train to Busan as our horror movie of October choice. I'd never seen it. Brian, you seen it before?
Mm-hmm.
You had seen it before?
Yep.
Okay.
No.
I was gonna say, there's a good chance Brian could see it, but you don't know. You're not the biggest horror fan, are you, Brian?
I like horror movies. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan.
Yeah,
I do love Korean cinema, but I hadn't actually gotten to see it, so no, I haven't.
Favorite Korean cinema movie?
I mean, you know.
Old Boy.
Yeah.
It's
but you know what? The Handmaiden, or the Handmaid. I can't remember. I keep mixing up because the Handmaid's Tale and the Handmaiden were kind of in the public
domain
conversation for at the same time. I think it's the Handmaiden.
Right.
Have you seen that?
No, I don't think so.
It's excellent.
Okay, go check it out.
I
remember watching all of Old Boy. I think it's Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and then
Lady Vengeance.
Lady Vengeance.
Lady Vengeance, also excellent.
Yes, yeah, good trilogy.
Yeah.
And I think The Devil Comes at Night. I've not seen it, but I really want to watch it.
I Saw the Devil.
I Saw the Devil, yes. Yeah. Is that the one where the person is... somebody is killed by a serial killer and they kind of torment the serial killer then?
Yes.
Yes,
it's down there. It would take too long to look for it, but I have it down there.
Yeah, well, I'll have to watch it sometime, for sure.
A guy, kind of a special forces guy. His wife is killed by a serial killer. And then the serial killer is insane, so I think he escapes, but he's not. Basically, anyway, what happens is the killer.
Spoilers.
No spoilers. It's in the plot of the movie. Basically, the killer becomes hunted by the special forces guy who. It's basically catch and release.
Yes, yeah,
he
beats him within an inch of
he
his life.
brutalizes him, and the guy gets away, and he just keeps catching him, and it isn't as good as Old Boy, but it is good. Sorry. The Handmaiden is directed by Old Boy director as well. So yeah, I am a Korean cinema fan. But
Squid Games is very popular at the moment. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you should watch it.
Have you been watching that, Kev?
Yes.
You know what though? Like, I've watched the first episode, and I will watch the rest of it, but I feel like I don't need to. I feel like between having seen Old Boy and Battle Royale and stuff like that, I've seen people react to it. For example, I saw Gogglebox and I saw people react to it, and it really did feel like, wow, you guys have never seen a Korean film before. Not to sound like a fucking hipster dickhead about it, but they were watching it and going like gasping and like just shocked by so much of it. And it was like, this is Battle Royale meets Old Boy. I was going to say,
you know, I saw these guys talking about it, and they were saying like, oh, you know, it's just like the Hunger Games, and it's just like, man, come on.
Yeah.
And then they said,
even when people were sort of starting to like go on the Hunger Games hype, I was a bit like, has nobody seen Battle Royale?
Yeah. And then they said
We sound like such assholes.
no, but the thing is,
Well,
though, like,
No,
it's
is
an
true.
age thing, you know. Battle Royale was huge when it came out, man. There was like mangas, there was the movies. I'm sure there was a cartoon, but
I think the thing is, it's huge if you're a niche film dude.
Well, like, right when it came out, like I was on the road to going to art college, if not already in art college. I think it came
you
out
would have
in
been already in
2000.
art college, Brian, because I think I watched that when I was like 15, 16.
Battle Royale was 2000, I think.
Was it?
Was it?
Bloody yeah.
I think it was. I could be wrong. So, but yeah, if not in art college, I was soon to be. So, that's where I did most of my film watching back in the day. Because I mean, it was essentially a film course.
Yeah, you're right, Brian. 2000.
I remember seeing, was it Brother?
Yes.
That Takeshi?
Takeshi
Man,
Kitano.
that guy put a fucking chopstick to a use I've never seen before, and it traumatized me in the moment. I was like, Jesus!
I remember.
That's for eating!
What I was going to say, but then they said it was like some other show, like I can't remember, like something in the apocalypse or I don't know. But anyways, it's like, well, no, Squid Games is brilliant. It is really, really good. Well, yeah, I'd say it's very, very good. Brian, you should watch it. Well, you both should watch it. For sure.
I will.
Yeah.
I will watch it. I just in
you
watching
think
the first episode, I felt like
You worked it out already.
not so much that I worked it out, just that I had it didn't hook me in the same way that it hooked a lot of people, because for a lot of people, like the first episode had nothing I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, I was going to say the first episode isn't great though, to be honest. Like I watched the first episode maybe twice.
Yeah,
I've heard people saying that as well about it. You know, that like it took a little getting into.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I will watch the rest, but based on the first episode, it hasn't really hooked me in yet, so I haven't made the time to go back to it.
It's good, but it's a very good series. I do think there's a point in the last episode where the last kind of say 20 minutes or something I wasn't mad keen on, but the rest of it is very, very good. I won't get into it, but I look forward to season 2 if they do season 2. If they don't, fine, whatever. It was really, really good.
It's I don't know. I'm seeing so much memification of it that it's putting me off watching it. I just don't want to get involved. Seeing people sharing that fucking card with the shapes on it, and like, I don't know what this is. Stop it.
The guy from the Train from Busan is in it.
Is he?
Yep, the main guy from the Train to Busan, he's in it. We just say, right, it's 2021. I'm not too sure when the Train from Busan came out. Maybe like what, 2016, 15?
16, I think. Yeah.
16. So okay, like 5 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
The man is like 42 years old.
Right.
Like he in the Train in Busan, in Squid Games, I pegged him as a like person who is like maybe in their early 20s, mid 20s. It's pretty
really?
wild. Yeah. Oh, the guy is incredibly young looking. He's very handsome, but he's incredibly young looking.
He's 42.
I think he's very handsome. Yeah.
It's that Korean skincare routine.
Yep.
Good hair as well in Busan.
Good hair.
Very
Yeah.
Good hair. Yeah.
I was gonna say we all have great manes of hair. So much hair comes off my head. Is that normal? Do girls go through that all the time? Supposed to do.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Mine is falling out, and I don't know if it's the lack of sleep or the stress or poor diet or everything, but it is rapidly.
I was looking
Falling.
through one of your many videos this week, Brian, and I thought you had a great head of hair.
Many videos. There was a lot of Instagram stories of essentially the same thing.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I needed to get through the day.
You know what, Brian? You do you. You're not doing any harm to anybody. But yourself,
Watch,
of course.
don't watch. I don't give a shit. Unfollow me.
not
I
for
don't
me.
give a fuck. No followers. I don't care.
No,
Fuck off. It's for me.
But no, you're dead right. But no, I watch your videos. I'm supportive. But
Thank you, Kevin.
yes, but no, I thought your hair looked great in that video. I thought it was very cool looking.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. But we're talking about the old, like, kind of like old movies. Oh God, talking about back in the day, Battle Royale and all that kind of stuff. Ichi the Killer. Shit. That was a lot back then. Yeah.
It's actually on my Instagram. I took a picture before and after. Like I just seen it it popped up on Netflix, and it was early in the day. It was like maybe 12 or 11, you know. And I was like, oh, Ichi the Killer. I was like, I hadn't seen this yet. And I was like, is it too early to watch this? And then the next photo was me wincing, going, yeah, not watching this. I don't really like that director. He's very hit and miss. He's
I feel if I went back and watched it, it would, like, you know, like dude, I was like, I don't know, again, 15, 16, like, that movie was edgy as fuck, and I probably thought I was this little edgelord.
Yeah. He's very prolific. He's directed hundreds. He's like, I think sometimes he's directed multiple films in a year. Takeshi Miike. Multiple films in a year. And then a lot of it is just like when he's good, but a lot of it is just shocking for the sake of shocking, and it's just
like I
don't see the point.
I watched, I think it was like one of the Ichi movies, or there's a separate anime or something like that, like movie or tie-in, or it started one of the movies, I can't remember. But I just opening scene of or early in the movie, the scene of basically him killing a rabbit and then like ejaculating on it, like kind of like as in like involuntary, you know. It was just like he had butchered this rabbit and then like came across it, and it was just like, this is
came across it.
Yeah.
Every time somebody says I came across something, that does go through my head, and I'm like, that's not what they mean, and I move on. And this is the first time in history that someone has said that, and it's been, that's what he means.
Yeah, when he came across,
he said what he said.
yeah. It's just I don't know. It's like, even like it's like, put it this way, it's like kind of being a 16-year-old real edgy edgelord, like kind of like, oh, this is cool, to now going like, Free Guy was great, wasn't it? Free Guy was a great movie. That part where he had the Captain America shield in the Hulk hand, that was brilliant. I loved that. Yeah. You
kind of have to like
full circle.
You kind of have to like front load all of your like
front load all over.
I did say peg him earlier.
You do. Yeah. You kind of front load all your edginess and acerbic-ness and your you know, dark shit in the front of your, like, you know, being shocked by things stuff, and then films after that you're like, yeah, I've seen this, you know, I get this, which I suppose is why you get people on Gogglebox going, what the fuck is this, because they never went through a weird phase of watching nightmare films.
Speaking of Takeshi Miike, possible suggestion for next week's film. Aidan, have you seen Audition?
No.
Fuck you.
No.
You see, I like Audition.
No, man, that's a hard watch. It's even as like I don't even know if that's a good movie.
Honest to God, this week, after Hereditary and Train to Busan, I was coming in here going, Muppets Haunted Mansion, guys? That's a Halloween film, right? Guys? You're throwing like, Audition at us.
Have you both seen Audition?
Oh,
no,
man.
I just read the description of it and went, no. No, thank you.
I've 100% watched it. I know that much.
I've had enough people tell me about it.
Whether I forced myself to forget it or not, I can't remember. I watched it.
I think Audition is the right balance of that director's, like,
edginess.
Shocking, yeah. It's, yeah. Ichi feels like it's just...
Oh, it's edgelord stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it super is, like, the whole aesthetic, the whole idea behind it and stuff. Like, I think, like, pretty much Marvel ripped that off, though, at one stage. I think they had a guy called Pestilence or Penance, and he was, like, kind of a guy who kind of almost got stronger the more pain he endured. Remember that? Ichi was something like that, wasn't it? Ichi kind of got off on the whole... I can't remember.
Kind of, yeah.
I can't remember. Something like that. I just remember, like, there's a guy in Marvel called Penance, and he was very, like, kind of reminiscent of Ichi the Killer. But yeah, horror movie next week. Yeah, we can discuss that at the end, I guess. See what we're going to do.
I think we found it. It's Audition.
Audition.
No, actually, no.
No,
it doesn't. No,
because no one wants to talk about that on the on the pod.
I mean, I do.
But
no.
that movie, whether or not it is of the same kind of tenor and stuff. When I was like wandering through fucking, I don't know, when I was reading, I don't want to say like I was reading or watching these things because I was reading just enough to decide I don't want to watch these things. So like Audition was in there, and like Tetsuo the Iron Man is one of those as well.
I've heard of that, but I don't know it.
I watched that in the library in IADT. I had read so much about it. I think I mentioned before, like there was a magazine called Manga Magazine, and it was about like Hong Kong cinema. Korean stuff didn't feature as much. I don't think there was much. Well, no, there would have been obviously. Anyway, point being that it was mostly manga, anime, and then every so often they'd talk about like a lot of Japanese films and stuff like that. So I had read a lot about Tetsuo 1 and 2. And
is that the one with the guy with the drill penis?
Yeah.
I've seen it.
That's the one.
Yeah. That's the one. So
I generally have seen it. Channel 4 showed it on TV years ago.
I've seen and read a lot about the film, and not once did they like.
No.
There was no like it. You know, they mentioned Cronenberg, body horror, and I was like, yeah, fine. But I rented that and watched it because it was on tape, so I had to watch it in the library in IADT.
Yeah, like sat way too close to a large CRT television on a bright weekday morning, surrounded by people writing essays.
When the drill penis made an appearance, I turned it off and returned it. I was like, I can't watch. I mean, the only place I can watch this is
the dark, alone, not wearing trousers
in the library. You know, yeah. It's like you know, it was first years. Like I don't want to be pegged as that guy.
Oof.
Nobody wants to be pegged with a drill penis.
Yeah. Nobody wants to have intercourse.
Don't know. There's some weird shit on TikTok. They'll make it out of silicone, and it won't anyway.
That's not the same thing.
No, I know.
This guy had a drill bit, not just a spinning thing.
It wasn't, and it was large. It was like, it would be like if he was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figure.
Grunting, and it doesn't sound disapproving. Is the thing?
It's disapproving. So this week, trailer wise, we did have the release of the Muppets Haunted Mansion, and I am going to watch that for next week. But it really looks like disappointingly like Disney have went, we gave you a chance to make some Muppet shit. Now we're going to start fucking our theme park stuff into it.
Well, they already did a Disney Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy, and it's really good.
Should I watch it?
It is really good. Yeah, no, it is good. Well, I think it was good. I thought it was fun.
Brian, as the devil to his angel on my shoulder, should I watch it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I know it's in the bad part of Eddie Murphy's career, so I think he made it around the same time he made Pluto Nash, I believe.
Kev, is it better or worse than Meet Dave?
What's Meet Dave?
It's the Eddie Murphy one where it is Meet Dave, isn't it? Where they're like, he's the captain of like a starship. But
I think they might have
Eddie
changed it
Murphy's
just to
body.
Dave at some point.
Say that again, it or so?
They're aliens who are visiting Earth in the body of Eddie Murphy, and there's like, it's from the perspective of like a...
It's like in Men in Black when that alien is piloting a human.
Yeah. What's the name of that sitcom that was like Harry's Head or something where...
Yeah, pretty much. Harry's Head or something it was, yeah.
Where they'd have like... Every social interaction was discussed by a cast of people inside his brain before he acted.
Are you only talking about that because it was in Only Murders in the Building?
I don't know. When was it in Only Murders in the Building? Yes, probably. Yes, that's probably why I'm talking about that. Yeah. Yeah,
but that kind of made me like, oh, I remember that show.
Still a useful touch point for the Dave conversation.
Sure.
I
just don't think I'd heard of it until that episode.
I'd heard of it. I just never seen it.
I definitely heard of it.
Dave is Kevin Kline, though, isn't it? Where he's the president.
I haven't seen it.
Kevin Kline.
I didn't watch a lot of Eddie Murphy stuff from that period because it wasn't good.
Daddy Daycare is brilliant.
Scanning for sarcasm.
No, it's not. I love that movie. I watched it like
No,
multiple
he
times.
loves it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Should I watch it?
Yep. Haunted Mansion's great too. Even though it got 15% in Rotten Tomato, but Rotten Tomatoes a bit stuck up. Which is better, IMDb or Rotten Tomato?
IMDb is Rotten Tomatoes is more reliable. IMDb is just people rating stuff. Rotten Tomato it's an aggregator of audience and critic responses. So it's a better indicator. Not necessarily reliable, but it's essentially aggregating what people have actually said, whereas IMDb is just people rating it themselves.
2003, Eddie Murphy. 14% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, 30% from the audience. Again, reviews don't mean anything if you enjoy a movie, but that is kind of damning. But if you enjoy it. I like stupid shit.
Yeah, but
I like Eddie Murphy.
I'll admit though, kind of, I have. I'm not going to say bad taste, but I have a very broad taste.
No, I'm the same. I kind of like grade on this like bell curve thing where like I can't watch the very bottom of it. And like I watch very few of the stuff at the very top of it, and then I just enjoy everything in the middle.
Fair.
It's not so much grading as it is. Is it just watching a lot of stuff and enjoying
it? Yeah, fair. Muppets Mansion. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Anything with the Muppets. Gonzo, great. He's in my favorite Christmas movie.
What movie is that?
Muppets Christmas Carol. I think it's my favorite Christmas movie.
Muppets Haunted Mansion. Let's check it out. Or it looks a bit by the numbers. It doesn't look great. I watched the trailer for 355 as well, which has Lupita Nyong'o, Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz, one of the Game of Thrones boys, the white one, or the other white one, which is the.
I think it's Sebastian Stan.
Fuck off! Is that not Richard Madden?
It's not a Sebastian
I
Stan.
thought it was Richard Madden. I was really trying hard to pick him out from Jon Snow, and it's not. It's neither of them.
It's Sebastian Stan.
Fucking hell. Okay. Kind of part of why I like bookmarked this movie is like the movie's called 355. They set it up as it was like George Washington's first female spy was Agent 355. They didn't give her a name. It's like, that's the name of the agent in Y: The Last Man. So that's a odd connection. Is that George Washington's story and any basis in truth?
There must be some historical context to it, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, Jessica Chastain. Well, didn't she do that movie with John Malkovich recently? It's like kind of she's doing a lot of action stuff. Yeah, I put it on for 5 minutes, man. I had to turn it off.
I watched all of it, but it wasn't good.
You watched all of it, okay?
Yeah, it's not good.
It slightly feels like she said yes to any production going during the pandemic, and the only things going were things that didn't have to follow the paperwork around COVID protocols and got done under the radar, and it's a bit shit.
You got to work.
I don't think that's true though, because
no, I'm making shit up, but these things are bad.
Hollywood is very heavily unionized, very heavy standards, and they take that shit seriously.
Yeah.
So
Ava,
yeah,
is the thing, yeah. John Malkovich, Common, Gina Davis, Owen Grufford, Colin Farrell. I forgot he was in it. Yeah. I was gonna say Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know. 355 looks crap. Probably on the same level as Ava. No, look, I told you, said you watched The Haunted Mansion. I'll watch it and I'll probably enjoy it, but it does look a bit drecky. It's Simon Kinberg who directed the Dark Phoenix X-Men movie. So his two film directing credits are 355 and The Dark Phoenix. Got a big production credits.
Technically Fantastic Four.
Oh, did he sort of ghost direct that?
He was producer on those films. He was producer on a lot of the Fox Marvel stuff. So he was a producer on Fantastic Four, and then he took over. Trank was fired, so he finished that film, I believe.
Okay. X-Men First Class, Jumper, Elysium, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, Deadpool 2, Designated Survivor, The Martian. Like, these are all his producing credits. Chappie.
There's some good movies in there.
I see that. Yeah, I think he's wandering into the directing end of things based on the weight of the stuff that he's produced, and he's produced a lot of stuff that's been very successful for them. On his list of upcoming announced things is The Running Man.
Oh, no way. Brilliant.
I'd be curious to see what they do with that. Like, I have a real soft spot for that movie.
Yeah, love it.
But it is really all over the place, panto fun, you know? Like,
yes, 100%. One of my favorite Schwarzenegger ones, to be honest. It's underrated, I think.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what the hell they do with that going
Wrestlers
forward.
with chainsaws.
Because, like, what else of his have they remade? They remade Total Recall. That was
Didn't watch it.
forgettable. They remade RoboCop. That's not Schwarzenegger, but it's that sort of era stuff.
They remade
Predator.
Conan, didn't they?
Hmm?
Predator
remade-
and Conan.
Yeah,
Yeah, they remade
Conan.
Predator and Conan. Jason Momoa as Conan.
Yeah. Ron Perlman was his dad, wasn't he?
I didn't hate him as Conan, but I hated that movie. It's just I've never.
I don't.
wanted to
But
go back and watch it.
you can't hate anybody as Conan to a degree, because like it's not as if it was it like, you know, like I liked the original Conan movies. I'm sure they're awful, but it's just like, you know, it's not exactly the biggest stretch for any muscly actor to do, you know. Like, you can't get precious over that kind of stuff. Some stuff you just can't get precious over, you know.
The Ron Perlman's head is so specific that he just looked kind of funny in Conan. I think I needed someone a little more anonymous as the father, but we have wandered wildly from 355, I guess. That's a good thing. 355 is a trailer that's out. You can watch it. Let us know what you think yourselves. Speaking of, or keeping going with the trailers end of things, Resident Evil, you put that in the chat, Brian. What did you think of the trailer?
I like how faithful it looks like it's trying to be in places. In other parts, then it's deviating and it's kind of for no reason. It looks very low budget, but wouldn't hold that against it if it kind of gets the other parts right. Not my Leon Kennedy, though.
No? Is that...
He looks
Bobby
nothing
ML?
like Leon. I don't know who it is.
He looks
He
like the guy from Why the Last Man or something.
Yeah, and also, like, it's a
medic.
nitpick, but it's kind of at the same time relevant. The story in the game is Leon is a rookie. He gets dumped by his girlfriend and he goes on a bender and he's hungover, so he misses his first day at work, and that's why he's not dead like everybody else in the police station, because when the zombies show up and attack people in the station, he's hungover. So he misses his first day at work, but he's very clean cut, clean shaven and everything. He's a rookie. And this guy's got like the scruffy beard and stuff, and he just looks nothing like Leon. It's just like, that's such a strange choice that
Evan
to kind of go.
Joja.
I played that game.
Vancouver native.
I played that game like twice recently, and I don't remember Leon being hungover. I thought
It's actually it's not in the game. It's in like files that you can read.
okay.
And I don't know if you remember there's when you go into the office, there's a sign that says like "Welcome, Leon."
Yes, I remember all that. Like,
yeah.
it was going to be first day and
but
stuff.
he's not there for that, because
Okay.
the backstory being that he was hungover.
Yes, I know. Yeah, he broke up with his girlfriend. I remember that, all right. But yeah.
Anyway, like, the point being is that the guy looks nothing like Leon, and it's strange that they recreate like one of the most iconic cutscenes of the zombie reveal turning around. That's in there. And
I was
looks
about
like
to
it's
say.
it's straight from it, and then it's like, this guy's close enough.
I
give
still remember
Case
seeing that
Calidero
cutscene
the red
in
jacket and stuff.
1996. Sorry.
Very iconic, yeah.
I almost put the game down and didn't play any more of it. And to be fair, I didn't get much further in it. We had rented it from Extravision, and I remember getting to that bit and going, "Ah!" And the aiming system being just useless. I got very scared and stopped playing that game pretty quick.
I remember being at someone's house, potentially a cousin's or something, and having Resident Evil. Now my brother probably had it, was playing it. Could have been our game, I don't know, but whatever room we were sleeping in, I can't remember. But the box art was facing up, and I had to turn it over before I went to sleep.
Can't have it looking at you.
No. Claire, I like that actor. The actor who's playing Claire.
Yeah, and she looks the part, and that's what I mean. It's like, they like
Claire's better in that game. I personally feel the Claire storyline and everything is better. At least in the one I played, the remake, because they kind of.
But I wonder which people prefer, because I think the second one you play gives you a different perspective from your first one, and is that why people sometimes prefer it? I don't know. But point being that the actress looks like Claire, and her wardrobe looks like Claire's wardrobe, and even Leon's wardrobe is very very similar to the game, but the guy looks nothing like it. And it's strange.
They made a real point of handing him the vest as well.
Yeah. It's strange that. Yeah, I don't know. Give him the 90s boy band haircut.
Who's your
Give
Leon?
him a shave.
Yeah. Who would you like to see play Leon?
I don't really care. Just like it when it's something like this and it's low budget, it doesn't really matter, But for that reason, it seems like it was an exercise in let's recreate stuff from the games, but then they change weird stuff. And the thing is, the stuff you change then I think stands out more when it's going to be like in Bebop, where they've kind of recreated a lot of things to a fault, and then everything that's going to be different is going to stand out even more so, because it's like, well, what was the point then?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
that's a handy little segue. Did you watch the opening credit thing for Bebop? What did you make of it?
Like there's a shot in it that I thought was kind of very telling. There's a shot of the swordfish, which is his Spike's spaceship taking off, and it looks like something from Speed Racer. Not in a bad way, but it's like it's neon, it's bright, it's like this bubblegum pop aesthetic, and the show has a much more muted, desaturated palette. As colorful as it is, it's going for like a noir kind of feel, and that kind of speaks volumes. I think that they've recreated a lot, but they've missed the tone of the original piece, and I think it's going to be quite jarring especially when they're recreating some stuff shot for shot. So like they've got the shot of Vicious standing over Spike with the sword pointed at him. Spike is the gun pointed at him, and there's a stained glass window in the background. They've recreated it very, very close, but they've missed. It doesn't capture the feel of it at all. It's too bright. It's too colorful. It looks too staged. If you compare those shots side by side, and it doesn't have any of the tone or the mood of the scene from the show, because it's trying to recreate it too closely without actually capturing the kind of the atmosphere of it. And I think that's going to be its downfall. It's going to feel like this Resident Evil trailer. It's like it's going to recreate a lot of stuff without actually understanding.
I was really surprised when I watched the opening credits of it, because I was like, I was not expecting just a straight retelling of the anime. I was like, let's see some bounty hunting missions in the Bebop universe. That's kind of what I was expecting from this, and I didn't realize they were just like, we're just going to do the thing. I was like, oh.
I think it's going to be different enough. I think it's going to follow. It's going to follow a few of the episodes, but it's going to be different.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's going to be different then in places, and it's going to be. We're going to wonder, like, why follow it so closely only to change this part and that part. Just do something.
Yeah. Because, like, the way like the series played out, that they made the movie, and the movie is its own standalone thing. Mm-hmm. I was kind of expecting that from this show. I wasn't expecting, and you're probably right, there's going to be some variety in there, but I wasn't expecting them all to get on board just doing like a cosplay remake of the series. Like, let's just watch the series.
That's the problem as well with recreating like the costumes and stuff, that it just looks like a costume. You know, I saw a picture just yesterday, I think. So Timothy Chalamet, I don't know what event he's at, but he's wearing an all blue suit, and it's much more Spike than the Spike costume, because the Spike costume, it's a human wearing a cartoon character's clothes. So how is Cho supposed to embody Spike's body language and his attitude when he's wearing a cartoon character's clothes?
Yeah.
Whereas Timothy Chalamet standing on a red carpet in a blue suit has much more of Spike's kind of, laconic energy, because
there's an air of the unreal when you're wearing that outfit, and it's going to be extra hard for John Cho to settle into the fact that, like, I live and breathe and sleep in this thing, and this is just my day-to-day wear. It feels uneasy on him.
Yep.
Like, anytime he's trying to look relaxed, he's trying to look relaxed.
It's a party costume. It's not the characters. It's just strange that I wonder who didn't get that, because I know costume people know this. Is it a producer thing then, where they're saying, like, no, make it as close to the thing, rather than capturing, again, like Spike was based on partially, anyway, at least he was partially based on Lupin from that series, and also based on a Japanese show. I think it translates to something like Detective Story, and that actor's hair and costume is very, very Spike. Even the silhouette of his hair, but it's just a Japanese guy in a blue suit, and that has more Spike energy to it than
that photograph of him sitting in, like, just a chair outside a building is.
Even he's also based on Elliot Gould's character in The Long Goodbye.
I was thinking of James Coburn, but it was Gould.
That is so much more Spike.
Yeah,
and it's a 70s movie. It's Elliot Gould wearing a blue suit and a yellow shirt, and that's so much more Spike than recreating the costume 1-to-1. And it's baffling that, like I said, I wouldn't put that on the costume people. I'd assume they know their craft and they know about costume and stuff. I'd imagine it's a producer decision. Somebody saying, no, it's gotta look like this. People want stuff to look.
The thing is, as well, is it Yusaku Matsuda is the actor?
Yeah.
The thing is, this is us at the same time, because we see this with things like the difference between, like, us enjoying MCU stuff versus DCU stuff. That, like, there are people who all they want from the film is the costumes to look bang on and for it to be shiny and loud and noisy and whatever. And there are costume designers and production designers that love doing that.
I think
but you need to then hire the person
want
to
that.
do.
I think they want, like, Cap's costume gets so much praise, and it's great. It's so different from cartoons and comics, but it's close enough while also looking like something that character with that character's motivations and everything would wear. And but I think people who want stuff to be this 1-to-1, they think they want it, and then when they see it, they don't like it, and it never works. And I think you're better off pissing off those guys in the short run and them coming around to it, because they do, because the right choice is the right choice,
You see it as well in certain art directors on big visual effects pieces, or productions where some audience is there for it, some directors, producers love that aesthetic, but when I see, like, overcomplicated designs being executed, like everything going on with Steppenwolf in Justice League is, like, a great example, and a lot of the costumes or the creatures in Justice League, it's too much just people enjoying the complexity of their render output, you know what I mean, and the technical making of the CG effect, like, they're enjoying the complexity of it, whereas I think, like, Guillermo del Toro's stuff on Pacific Rim, those giant robots, when we'd had a 5-year period of Michael Bay Transformer movies, taking such a very simple silhouette-based design approach to it, like getting something really clean and readable, as your overall shape, and then putting a bit of nice design on it. But like
that is also because it was going for the Japanese kind of aesthetic,
sure,
of those robots and stuff, and
Big Gundams.
with Transformers was like, oh no, it's got to look more mechanical and it's got to look more complicated.
we're
and
just
stuff.
enjoying everything moving. Though,
It lost, it like you said, it loses that silhouette, it loses all that kind of readable information and detail.
Yeah, but that's somebody. Like, there are audiences that love that and go, oh my god, look at all this shit moving, and there are art directors and film directors and producers that love that shit and get off on looking at each individual frame like that, whereas like I'm definitely more the mindset. Like there's a
I don't know if audiences do. I don't think so. I think people's brains switch off on that type of stuff, to be honest. There's the initial couple of seconds of it where they're like, oh, that's interesting, and then the more you show it to them, they're like, oh, I can tune out here for a couple of minutes because I've seen this, 30 minutes ago, and there's nothing worth watching in it again.
When's it out?
Bebop.
Yeah.
November, I think. Or mid-November. November. I don't know.
there's a
Soon.
quote that I always kind of forget the exact phrasing of it, but it's like, perfection is not when you've more to add, but when you've nothing left to take away, or like it's a sort of design sense of like, can you break something down to the minimum required elements and still have it work? Now, if you go to start look at any of the art I create and the amount of fucking bricks and windows I've rendered and things, you'd slap me around the head for saying that that's something that I keep in the back of my mind when I'm designing, because I keep getting lost in drawing fucking cityscapes. But it's something I definitely think about when I look at like overcomplicated designs in fucking films, where it's just like, could you just please pare this shit back?
I think like so much of Spike's costume is because of his proportions. He's a very anime proportioned tall person, and that suit works on that silhouette. It just doesn't make sense to put an actual person in the exact same thing. I would have just preferred, like, give me a fucking cool blue suit, yellow shirt. Give it something that, kind of like the advice apparently that the director gave to Sean Connery on Bond. Apparently, when he put the tuxedo on, he told him, like, go home and sleep in it, because he wanted him to
look ruffled and not so pristine.
and just be comfortable in it.
it.
Yeah. And apparently, I don't know if that's true, but like that's a story. Whether it was true or not, I don't know. But apparently, it is. But yeah, it's just it should have been just a cool blue suit that Cho looks like he sometimes sleeps in, but also is cool while doing it, instead of him just looking a bit uncomfortable in a cartoon character's clothes.
That's funny you say, because God, there's a story like that. No, it's not a story. There's a book called Frank Sinatra Has a Cold by Gay Talese, and he's a journalist, and he just it's based around an interview, and one of the things they note about that is, it won a Pulitzer or a Peabody or something for this like interview with Frank, where no one would actually let him talk to Frank. He just became part of the entourage for a while. And he just got to write it based on the mood of everybody interacting around him. And one of the things they flagged was just like, from years of touring as a younger man, he knew how to lie on a couch and just tug his suit into the right place that it wouldn't crease while he slept. He just lived in the bloody thing. And it kind of goes, like, I know it's that era's fashion as well, but like, he's so comfortable in a suit because he fucking lived in a suit,
Yeah.
It's not something I'm putting on for a formal occasion. It is just
Attire.
This is me. Yeah.
This is work clothes.
It's his going out in the world clothes. And it's why he looks so odd and casual wear. There's a couple of like late era Frank videos of him, like Don Rickles gigs, just walking around in a leather jacket and a baseball cap, and it's like, that's weird.
Who is this?
It's a weird way to see Frank Sinatra. So getting us on to the meat of stuff though, but just touching on one last thing. The first trailer for the new Game of Thrones spin-off was there as well, House of the Dragon. Matt Smith's head is so much Matt Smith that when you stick a blonde wig on him, again, it starts to look cosplay and costumey. Is anybody excited for more Game of Thrones? I really feel like they
No.
poisoned their own well there in the last of season 8, and
I think
They really did.
I think we just say, for example, right? Because like I saw it and it's just like, well, like, you know, it looks good, like as in like production wise. I don't have any interest in it. I wasn't a big Game of Thrones fan. Anyways, I watched it all when as it was coming out and stuff. You know, I bandwagoned it, but it's like, you know, people are pretty forgiving to a degree. You know, and I think if the first episode ends on some sort of real interesting hook, people forget about the first season. Most people would forget about the first season.
yeah.
Not nerds.
I think the part of the massive success of Game of Thrones was it presented itself as historical drama for the first while, for the first little bit, and kind of had a Tudors vibe, and it pulled in the people that would have watched those things.
Yeah.
And then it sort of stealth loaded in, and I know there is like the White Walker at the very start of it, so maybe I'm full of shit, but I do feel like it was one thing enough for long enough that it kind of stealth loaded in the fantasy so that it had brought along an audience that wouldn't ordinarily watch a show with dragons in it. But now everybody knows what Game of Thrones is. I don't think people are going to watch this thing. I don't think it's going to be the same hit they want it to be.
Yeah, part of its success was because it had people who would never watch a fantasy show watching a fantasy show. And I don't know if those people will come back, because everybody felt burned by, especially the last season, you know?
Yeah. And it, like, sometimes I think that there is, like, this happened to me on Lost, that, like, you can't cliffhanger me for a season and then leave me 8 months before the next season comes along over that long a period. And then there was a writer's strike in the middle of it and more delays and then mid-season breaks. So I think sometimes if you were to watch something in bulk, you'd enjoy it more. But I've watched a couple of series of reaction videos now where people have watched Game of Thrones from start to finish in a clean line. And they all start to get to like season 6, season 7 going, what the fuck is happening with this show? And then end of season 8, they're like, the fuck was that? You know, like, it's not a case of people getting fatigued over 8 to 10 years of watching a show. It just falls apart in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious dip. Sorry, Kevin.
I was just going to say, like, I was watching something recently and it was just kind of like, it was almost like, I think kind of, certainly for me anyways, but it's like Lost kind of soured stuff for me to a degree in terms of like, and I know people love it and they stuck with it and stuff. I just didn't.
Leave Lost alone.
Yeah. But it's kind of like my tolerance is like, basically it's just like, if I don't get like enough progression and development and resolve in moments where it needs to be, I can lose interest pretty fast. Because I think I was watching, like, was it 9 Perfect Strangers? That got a little bit losty on me, and then it was just like, if they try to get a season 2 out of this, it's just like, no.
Well, like that's kind of how I feel about Only Murders as well. Like, I love the cast, I love the world, I like a lot of the stuff about it, but I'm not hooked enough on it to want any more after season 1. You know, I'm kind of sticking with it at this point because I like everybody in it. But that might just be me.
I'd be a little bit worried about how that's going, to be honest. But the only thing is, like, after the latest episode, certain things happen. So they obviously, like, it's a bit of an old switcheroo. We thought this show was about something, and I think it's kind of going to be about something else.
Oh, okay. All right, well.
Do you mean it's not about a podcast?
Oh, it's very much about a podcast.
Did you all watch The Good Place?
Yeah, I love The Good Place.
Season 1 and 2, I think.
You should watch the rest of that, Kevin. That's a show that I think did an amazing job of changing what it was just when you got tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it walked an amazing line of like, oh, this show's about a person who went to the wrong place. Oh no, this show's about this. Oh no, this show's about this. It kept changing what its format was. Or its
jumping the shark.
Angle. Without jumping the shark. And I think it's even down to like the ending. The last season of it could have gone.
Also, though, heavily, heavily inspired by Lost.
I don't
And
doubt it.
Lost is great.
But I think they were like,
I just
I think
got-
whoever wrote A Good Place was probably watching Lost and being like, oh, like, I thought it was going to be like this. And then they were just like, that would have been really cool. And then they were like, I'm going to write that really cool show and forget about this awful show, Lost.
No, basically the way it ends is the way Lost ends. They literally did the Lost
look,
ending.
I don't want to get into defending. Like, I know that Lost.
Watch
has-
Lost and The Good Place. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Yeah.
No.
but I
Watch it.
watch
You'll
Lost.
like it.
You'll like Lost. I just got burnt out over 8 years of Lost, and the gaps and the writer's strike and everything
Well,
else in
6
between.
seasons. I don't know how many years.
It just
I
got
mean-
strung out. Yeah.
If you're going to watch 6 seasons of something, just watch Supernatural. It's far superior.
Only watch 4 seasons of it.
No, 5. I think it's 5. Only watch 5 seasons.
You've got to watch
No,
all
4.
18 seasons of Supernatural.
No,
I've
just
watched
4.
I must have watched the 4. I don't know, 4 or 5. But yeah. Okay, I had to stop after that. It's like, no, too much.
All 18 seasons of Supernatural.
When the showrunner leaves, stop watching Supernatural.
That happens to a lot of the things we watch.
This is just a new thing. Nobody knew what a showrun was until Netflix
I did.
Daredevil. You did not, Brian.
I
I
did.
never heard of anybody talk about a showrunner until Netflix Daredevil.
How actually dare you? How very dare you?
You might have, but the concept of a
Daredevil.
showrunner is a reasonably new.
I'm the one who
development, or at
told you
least-
Yeah,
all
shut
that
up, Aiden. That's
producers
exactly what I'm
are
saying.
writers. You didn't know that without me.
What?
Producers are writers on TV shows. Producer means writer.
Does it?
I know what a showrunner is. Yes, it does. Yeah, on TV. Producer. If you see a producer credit, they're writing the show.
Dick Wolf wrote the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Dick Wolf.
Showrunners. I never knew what it was until Daredevil. Speaking of Marvel TV shows, I got some grapes I want to squeeze.
Is it
Gripes.
about what if?
Yeah.
Please don't.
Stop squeezing your grapes. We're on a podcast.
What happened to that What If episode that we never saw? Because that looked epic. Gamora and Tony Stark looked really interesting. And I kind of like the idea of what if Tony didn't return from the alien kind of wormhole. Kind of, it's a bit more intrigued. Because like, I'll get into it in a bit, but what happened to that episode?
Brian,
was
you're
it-
the
why
one with
didn't
the insight here. What the
Why
hell
didn't
happened to it?
why didn't they show us that episode?
Supposedly they just didn't finish it in time because of COVID. That's the
Really?
reason they're giving. Yeah, apparently.
That's bullshit. You can't give someone I'm paying. Excuse me, Disney. My brother's paying for this. Okay, my brother's paying for Disney Plus.
When I first heard it though, that's not the excuse they gave, and I wondered, was it because we were supposed to have like other films out by now, and is there stuff in there connected to those films? That was my first thought.
Somebody thought of a better excuse in the meantime. Look, this is the talk, or the subject, I guess, is that final episode of What If, and you know, Gamora as the Thanos killer with the Infinity Stone grinder thing, and like
The thing
that
is,
was
I
a
don't
little
think
bit
it
like-
really mattered.
It didn't matter. Like they were able to
didn't
throw her
matter.
in and just go, we're fine.
Yeah.
You just grabbed somebody else.
Yeah, multiverse, it's fine.
I
Didn't matter.
I liked the last couple of episodes for sure. I don't think Brian did, just by looking at him.
Can I tell you that Gamora Iron Man relationship and the weirdness of the unfamiliarity of their look and their story is much more interesting because I haven't watched a half hour of it. When he just popped up and we see that like Junker Iron Man suit and her in Thanos' kind of armor, I'm like, oh, that's cool. What's that about? I don't want to see the episode because it'll just be boring.
No, stop.
Stop.
Stop. All I'm saying is, right, I would have liked to have seen it. I think it's kind of probably one of the more... It's a fun concept. Might even be more fun than what if Killmonger was a villain? What if T'Challa was a hero?
I think the really one of weak points of the show is when we watched the Captain Carter episode, we thought this is going to be an anthology, just like What If, and there would be these fully kind of contained little looks at here's a interesting what if this instead of that. And then once we got past maybe episode 3, it was very clear that it's just an excuse to show us who's going to be in the lineup for the last episode. And it wasn't about having a good self-contained anthology. It was just literally to introduce us to these characters, to team them up in the end. And even then, it still felt rushed when they teamed up all in the final episode. And this would work so much better as an anthology.
Yeah, I agree. I loved it.
Do you remember that scene in The Force Awakens where they're planning to take out Starkiller Base and there's just 10 of them standing around a table going, well, how do we get out of here? And somebody goes, I know the back door to all the plans. He goes, I love this kid. Suddenly we've got like a 90-second conversation where everybody asks all of the relevant questions, and for some reason everybody, like, many people died to get these plans out of the, for the first Star Wars movie. In this one, they just have a notion,
If it's building to one, like, moment, if the series or the season is one story, it turned out to be in the end, it's about taking out Ultron, why not have them team up in the middle and make what they're trying to do a story, and have that be like 3 or 4, like have them team up in the middle, because it they kind of showed us that they can insert somebody in there without giving them the full story, and we'd just pick it up as if we'd get it. And that would have been so much more interesting if by episode 4 he's like, if episode 1 was the Ultron episode 2 and 3 introduces to somebody, episode 4 was the Watcher going, I got to do something with this, and he puts the team together. And then the remaining 4 episodes are them, this 2-hour thing broken into 4 episodes, but much better paced and staged. Instead, it was just like, why?
Different show, though, isn't it then?
It's a completely different show, but we're
that would have
pitching
been
a better
better.
show.
I understand what you're saying, right?
Like,
Yeah,
tell the same. They could have told the same story, but more effectively. Because
it's like
there were so many things in that last episode that contradict that season's logic, but also contradict so much stuff from the rest of the MCU. It just seems so rushed, too much.
You could have spent the first few episodes in an anthology format, as you're suggesting. Introduce Ultravision as a threat that dethrones the Watcher, and now we have a format where we spend a lot of time not even necessarily putting the team together, but building towards a confrontation. And as you say there, it makes me think of like Sliders. Like, you can still do your what if thing, where each week the team is jumping into a new dimension to pick up something interesting for a half dozen episodes and build to a climax. Like, you can still do your what if something was different in this universe, but it stops becoming a very sort of anthology presentational show to a more incidental, we're now in this universe where zebra people rule the planet and the Black Panthers, I don't know, I'm making shit up, but like, and then the humor in it, I mean, do we have to just go, this is for kids at the same time?
There was 2 Rick and Morty writers on previous Marvel shows, and they should have gotten 1 or 2 more for this, because they need it. They like, when you look at how well Loki handled the idea of multiverses and stuff like that, and then this show just seems to, it's like they weren't sharing notes or something. It's like they created it completely separately, and it almost is like they had an anthology show, but then tried to force it being connected, and it feels forced because that's not how they, it feels like it's forced because maybe that's not how they approached it.
Well, let's take a slightly different tack and go, is there anything you liked about it?
Not much.
What did we like about it?
Of what if and everything.
This final episode.
Oh, it was cool to see a different Avengers team essentially fight. I liked seeing Captain Carter leading it. I really liked Doctor Strange. He was amazing. I really liked Hawkeye in this episode and his sacrifice and all that kind of stuff. That was this episode, was it?
No.
That was last episode? Oh, it was last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked
that
Thor, Viva Las Vegas.
Black Widow in that planet sees a bunch of people fighting the Ultron character that she's trying to kill, and she interferes.
Yeah.
She stopped what they were doing.
in that reality, Ultron has wiped out the universe. Like effectively, he's. It says he wipes out like all known planets in that universe, and then that's why he goes to another universe. She's on her own on that planet, and she sees
A team of magical people fighting Ultron.
Yeah.
And she gets between them and stops a potential killing blow.
I think
That
you're
was
being
a
really.
weird-
I think you're being really rude. Ian. You don't know how. You don't know what you do in that situation. I think it's being really insensitive.
I can't help but compare it to, like, I know I bring up the show a lot, but it's because it's in the same space. But Justice League Unlimited, just fantastic show, and just has told similar stories and just gets them right. And it's just frustrating that this doesn't.
I like this. I liked it. It was fun.
I'm happy for people who like it.
Um,
I just feel like it could be more. It's disappointing.
well, I'm sad for people who feel disappointed by it. But I
I
respect
appreciate
your
your feeling sad for me. Thank you.
I do. I really do. I wish you could feel the happiness I feel. It's warm and it feels good. But no, I'm like, what if the issues I had with it is just like kind of like the Watcher, obviously, kind of, Jesus, dude, where's your line? Like, kind of like 1 second you're interfering to save the entire world, the next one you're like, just like, I can't do this, and it's just like kind of hypocrite much. And then Killmonger. Why have Killmonger? You just like
You could have gone and got a Black Panther. You
No,
could have gone
because he needed the two characters to be in a power struggle at the end.
and locked into it forever.
Yeah.
And he wanted a bad person for it. He
Yeah.
wanted kind of two bad people. Very cool. Very cool.
Okay,
That was my take.
You've suddenly sold me on the whole thing.
Yeah,
That's
brilliant.
perfect.
What a great show. Oh, that was so cool. But I think you're right, Brian. I liked it.
That was my
guys.
take.
I liked
That
it.
they couldn't beat them unless there was actually a struggle over two people fighting over the things, because one person in possession of them would just be
Yes, yeah.
kind of
No,
unstoppable. Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
so good. Because that's what Doctor Strange said. He's like, we were never meant to
Yeah.
win or something. We were only meant to take the stones away from whatever or whatever. We were only meant to get something like that. But I liked it. In terms of Brian, because you speculated quite a lot over the many years we've been doing this podcast, you speculated that this is going to feed into the MCU in a larger way. Do you still believe that?
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to see? Who do you think you're going to see?
I think potentially Strange, and I've been hearing Captain Carter.
Captain Carter. Do you think we're going to see a Hydra Stamper? Chris Evans Hydra Stamper. I mean,
I'm
Chris
not
Evans
sure.
is kind of.
I don't
kind
think
of
so.
Into it, but I don't know if we're going to see
Yeah.
that.
I think he will come back, but I don't think it's for this. It's kind of too soon, I think.
Did you see? There was a little kind of like not post credit scene, but there was a little after credit scene, wasn't there?
Yeah, that was the Hydra.
Hydra
Stomper.
Stamper. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I think I know this sounds like we went over it, but I'm really disappointed. We didn't get that other episode. I hope at some stage we will.
It's season 2. They're there. Yeah.
Okay, because I really want to see the other episode. But and I look forward to a season 2. Like, kind of as what if things go. I liked it. And I liked the Scarlet Witch fight in Ultron. That was really cool. The zombie Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, it's still like I like that zombie episode, but I just have an old man fucking approach to how I want my zombies to behave. And the moment where she unleashes a magical thing and he's still there, and she goes, "Huh?" Like
What
That's my
if-
problem with it, is
but
that
what
they're
if
not
Marvel-
they're not zombies. You know,
But Marvel zombies retain some of their sentience. And there's a whole thing about who was it, like they were going to eat zombie Galactus at one, or they're going to eat Galactus at one stage, and Captain America was stopped by, I can't remember, it was an odd one. But talking about zombies, what did you think of the Marvel Zombie episode that we watched a couple of weeks ago?
I hated it.
I like it.
I much prefer zombies in the style of Train to Busan.
Never heard of it. What
Never heard of it.
What if Brian, yay, nay, or talk to me another day?
Talk to me another day.
Okay, Aiden, yay, nay, or talk to me another day.
Nay.
You fucking say it. Nay, okay, nay.
Talk to me another day.
One of them.
What are
Pick one of them.
What,
Pick one of
what
them.
are we talking about?
Yay, nay, or
if-
talk to me another day. What are you talking about? What's your
What if?
What if? Oh, okay. Apologies.
Are you multitasking?
God, he's slow.
Is he multitasking? Don't be multitasking
He is.
right now.
Put your multitask down.
Yeah.
Stop playing with it.
I think I gotta say nay. I don't want to watch any more of these cartoons unless they drastically change the production. And
That sounds like talk to me another day then.
okay.
yeah, Jesus.
If there's drastic changes in how they're making these things,
How does he not
then-
get this, Brian?
I don't know. He's multitasking. He's too busy playing with his
Multitasking.
pencil.
I'm saying yay. Yeah.
so
give
we've
me
yay,
more.
nay, and Brian, yours was talk to me another day.
Yep.
Okay.
I say yay. Give me more. I don't mind.
Yeah, I just am I excited for or looking forward to any of it anymore? Not particularly.
The storylines could get more elaborate. I think some of these storylines were a little bit safe. I hope season 2 has more elaborate and takes more risks in their storytelling things.
Yeah.
You see, like that's kind of my problem is if they were going to tell a connected story, then the anthology approach at the start was the wrong way to go.
Well, look, we had a natural segue there a little while back, and I think we should take advantage of it and move on to the Train to Busan. I think, like, I have said a number of times here, I am not the horror fan.
This felt more like an action kind of thing, though.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
It wasn't
it's
scary, but it's cool.
It's more like a
sitting in the horror
disaster
genre.
movie. Yeah, it just the
And-
disaster happens to be people.
Zombies.
And it's just, yeah, the zombies become this wave of disaster to stay ahead of. And what's interesting is the sort of solutions they come up with for the various challenges that are put in front of them as they run from these zombies. The effects, like the composite shots of cities and stuff like that, they're clearly, like, it's not high budget, amazing looking, but it is really effective, and you do watch it sort of going, you know, this works great. It's got some of that like World War Z waves of zombies crashing into each other and like insect like piling over each other. And it is effective, right? It's good. It's good, right, guys? Is it?
Yeah.
Am I right? Somebody
It's a movie. It's
Validate
a movie good.
me.
validate me. There's some lovely like moments of like back-breaking movement styles. At one point, one zombie turns to look at one of the survivors by bending over backwards and looking at them upside down before pivoting around their spine and chasing after them. It was kind of like, there's some fun stuff with how the zombies move.
Yeah, I thought that stuff was cool.
So the movie starts with our lead character, played by Gong Yoo, taking his daughter to visit his mother her mother, his estranged wife in Busan. Is that where they were heading?
I got the impression. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so it was. So the mother left, and the father was staying with the daughter was staying with the father and his mother. And he was obviously a very absent father because he was working all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to be with her mommy in Busan.
Yes. I'm crap with character names on this film though. Like
Sona is the daughter.
Sunna, yeah.
Suan.
Suan is it? Sorry.
Suan.
Suan, I think. Swan. Not sure how to pronounce it. Not Suan. I'm not correcting you. I'm playing myself. If I'm making it sound like Suan. It's
The
more about
Waltons.
Suan.
Suan.
That was Sue Ellen, wasn't it?
Suan.
Is
night,
it
Jambo.
Sung Hwa? Is the guy in the blue jacket, who's just beating shit out of people, the big guy with the pregnant wife?
Yeah, he was brilliant.
He's going to be
great.
in Eternals.
Is he?
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's epic. He looks familiar, all right. Yeah, yeah.
I think he was a boxer also, like originally.
He looked.
His kind of background as a boxer.
In this movie, I loved his boxing technique and his wrestling moves. I love wrestling moves in action movies like this. You know, like he's like kind of like just throwing people around. I love that stuff. I love just a good kind of old school wrestler type stuff. It's great.
There was great energy the moment the sort of zombie stuff kicked off on the train. The first person getting bitten, the transformation from human to zombie is pretty instantaneous. So the numbers of people that become a threat is very quick. The way they shot everybody scarpering through the train cars being chased, the sort of static position in the chairs with shit whipping past the windows and people running around, it created great energy in those initial moments of the takeover of the train. Like, there was real panic as people running down it. We had some issues with the subtitles on this thing, but like as you said, Kevin, you kind of didn't even need them at a certain point. The visual storytelling was just engaging enough to.
It was super strong, yeah.
To pull you through it, and it was really cool. It wasn't scary. Were you scared at any point? Were you anxious for people?
Oh yeah, super anxious for people for sure. I like this movie I thought was great because, like, you know, obviously, like, there's always a character, like the guy who's going to be in Eternals is always a character like him that kind of like, at first he was a bit of an asshole to a degree, you know, but he was a really like kind of selfless guy, you know.
I think we can amend that for a minute. I don't think he was ever an asshole. I think he was very straight talking to people that were inconsiderate. You know, but he was fair. Always from a standpoint of being like, he was kind of a good dude. It's like,
yes,
he was protecting his wife. He was telling the guy being a prick that he's being a prick, you know.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved him. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like, but like, you know, he was a little bit like kind of like, say, not nice to the girl to a degree. You know, the little girl at the first. I kind of think like, you know, he kind of told her like, "Hey, scram, get out of here," blah blah. You know, and it's just like the kid just wants to go to the bathroom. It's like, it's not a big deal or whatever, you know. But anyways, all I'm saying is like, he was a great character and stuff. And I he was so good. And it's just like, I knew he wouldn't last. And it's just like, I'm thinking, like, even I watched it with Emer, and Emer was just like, why can't just like one time one of those people survive? Why can't they survive?
When he took off his jacket to engage with the fight, I was definitely like, why are you doing that? That's way more flesh on show.
Yeah. Yeah, I do ever think about, like, in these situations, like, if you punched a zombie and they just nicked it, because, like, you know, I've heard it.
Every time he was punching people, I was like, that's... I mean, Brendan Gleeson in 28 Days Later just looked up under the wrong lamppost. You know, got a bit of dust in his eye, and that was him.
But yeah, it's just kind of like...
It was blood.
It was blood, yeah, dripped into his eye. But it's just kind of like, like kind of, you'd be worried, like, that you graze your knuckle off in zombies too, because that happens when you box somebody, or, you know, that kind of thing. And it's just kind of like, oh god, like that's
full motorcycle gear, reinforced knuckles, bike helmet. That's my apocalypse costume. Just be headbutting zombies.
I watched a zombie movie. I can't even remember it. Recently, it's a very low budget kind of like not a, you know, kind of like a, not a big one, you know. But these guys were in a forest, and there was like somebody was keeping his kids and his wife in the cellar, but he was bringing back people to feed his wife and kids, that type of thing, you know, in the forest in a cabin or something. But a couple of these characters ended up getting together. But it was one of those times where it's just like, these people are putting together like good zombie fighting gear, you know. They were putting on helmets, they were like grabbing everything, gloves, they were like, you know, putting like baking trays on them, whatever it was, like. But they like, it was like one of those things where it's just like they've accepted that they're zombies and it's scary, and they have put everything they could find taped to their bodies and stuff. It was cool, it was funny. But sorry, I digress. But Train to Busan. Yeah, I felt anxious for characters in it for sure, you know.
Do you know what was an interesting thing that, like, it kind of hit me halfway through it, and it has to have been a decision, but like in every other zombie movie I've watched, it's either been made clear through some form of exposition or has just been a thing that effectively happens. shoot him in the head, they stop coming after you. Or there was some way of downing a zombie. They're done. That, we never saw a zombie be incapacitated. You know, they kept hitting them, they kept getting back up in this movie.
Yeah,
and that's
and it was
like
hordes and hordes of them.
Because part of me at a certain point was like, just shoot him in the face. But like, we never really see one of them dead, you know? I suppose at the end when they get to like the barbed wire, the military post. But even then, one of those bodies is still moving, you know?
Yeah. True. I thought that was kind of interesting for sure.
We should write a zombie movie.
Now?
We should. Not right now, but we should.
Okay.
People love it. People, audiences buy into zombie stuff like so quickly. It doesn't matter if it's their thing or not. People are like, what would I do? How would I survive? People love seeing how people cope in situations and what strategies and stuff they come up with. We should write one.
I always think
We should come up with some new things and people will...
come up with some new thing. Did you say, Brian?
As in like new things in terms of like what's a fresh take on like a survival strategy.
Okay.
And just have a couple of those moments in there. People will eat it up. People love that stuff. We should do it.
Well, cut this out of the podcast. We don't want to encourage people to create zombie movies.
We got to keep it on the down low that zombie movies are a thing.
Yeah.
They're making a TV show based on Extraordinary.
Oh,
Really?
With
Who's
Maya
making
Rudolph. Yeah. I can't remember, but Maya Rudolph is going to be in it. It might not be Irish, but it's going to be based on... It probably won't be Irish, but it is based on Extraordinary. Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah.
Just
What We Do in the Shadows is all the TV series. I've not watched it, but it's on Disney Plus.
Disney.
Now.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 out of 3 seasons are there, yeah. The second one's airing? Or third one's airing, rather.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But Train to Busan. Yeah, I like the zombies. I liked how the zombies kind of, these things. You always, I don't mind if people try to do kind of weird and different things. Like, but when the zombies at the end were holding on to the back of the train and they were kind of like clustering like that and stuff, and I liked that. And then they started like climbing on top of each other. I thought that was cool.
That was a great moment. Yeah, it was really. Yeah, it was a really interesting sort of watching that little mechanism happen. You know, the chase was good. Like, I'm looking at it going, how the fuck did they do that? Like, they didn't have a cast of thousands running around. You know, like that had to have been composited in through like groups of 10 running towards the train, and then I don't know if they created a human mattress for people to lie on or something. It's a great effect though.
Yeah, it was. It was awesome. I liked like
fucking businessman.
Brilliant
Young
character.
Suk, I think was the character. What a prick.
Yeah, brilliant, great. It was good. It was like I like stuff like that, and these things like you always like. It's like okay, so the zombies are obviously the bad guys, but like zombies are just like faceless, nameless, like hordes of whatever. You get very detached to them, but it was cool seeing this. Like, well, not cool, but it was interesting seeing this. Like, raw, just this really selfish guy, and like he threw loads of people into the zombies, and like he didn't give a fuck. He was horrible. He was brilliant. It was so well done. And even when he was like he was bit and he was changing, he still like was selfish,
That like we're in full on spoiler territory. That was a really nice way to end the heroes or our protagonists' journey there. Like the shot of the shadow falling off the train was cool.
Yep.
I really liked as well the moment where they go to the train station and they're trying to diverge on their own path and separate from the group.
Yeah.
And he gets separated from his daughter. There is a moment where like I was genuinely like they're gonna kill that little kid. And blue jacket boxer dude comes out of nowhere with the elbow.
Yeah.
And knocks the jaw off that guy. It was great. It was a great moment. I was really happy to see him.
This is kind of a funny movie to talk about though, because so much of it was visual, and kind of like things in a certain context. Do you know what I mean? So like kind of like you don't know kind of how like when it got off the train and you see how dire the situation, or you see they're going, everybody else is going to the main square where they're going east or something, and then you see the zombie approach and then chaos break out and stuff. But it's like all of this stuff is like we can tell you about it, but it's like you gotta watch it. It's a good zombie movie. Do you know what I mean? It's a funny one to talk about because a lot of the stuff that the things that you hit are just all like little visual moments that are cool. Like even I loved like some of the stuff in it was so smart when they kind of just like, oh, they can see us, so you one just throws the water on the door and sticks the newspaper to it. I loved it. It's great. Just quick problem solving. I loved it. The fire extinguisher, great.
It is so visually exhilarating and fun to watch as a movie, and successful. It is funny to me that some American production company hasn't remade it yet. I don't want them to do that.
It's definitely happening.
Is that happening, or
I've definitely
do you think it
heard
will
that
happen?
happening.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I know there's the sequel. Is it called Peninsula? Busan
Peninsula,
Peninsula? Yeah. Is it just called Peninsula, or is it called Busan Peninsula? Or
Depends on where you look, but
Right.
some places it's Train to Busan 2 Peninsula, other places it's just Peninsula.
No, wait, there's a sequel to it.
it's not with the same characters, but it's the same.
In
universe of
2016,
zombies.
Gaumont acquired the rights for the English language remake. In 2021, New Line Cinema, Atomic Monster, and Coin Operated were announced to be co-producing partners for the remake with Warner Brothers, distributing worldwide. Timo Tjahjanto, Indonesian director, is in talks to helm the film,
Okay.
co-producing
Train
James Wan.
to San Diego. What do you think?
Boston.
Chicago,
Train to
Boston.
Boston.
I'm going to see my mother. Say hi to your
Say
mother.
hi to, say hi to your mother for me.
Oh, so it's Mark Wahlberg.
Yay!
You know what it is.
Donnie!
Oh, look, like the thing is, like, I have no problem watching an American version of this movie. Hilarious! I cannot wait for it. I like this movie, really, really awesome. That's what I'm saying. Kind of like there was so much to decompress, or there's so much to kind of digest, I should say, in Hereditary. This movie is a little bit more straightforward. It's a cool zombie movie on a train. You know, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, kind of,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to like just like kind of just explain the entire movie. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's just
No,
yeah.
it's a very lean, economic. It's a thriller.
Yeah.
It's an
But
action
it did a
thriller.
great job of keeping you engaged, even right up to the very end, where they're walking through the tunnel, and the soldiers can't tell whether or not they're human or they're zombies. So you're like, how are our protagonists going to survive this, or are they going to survive this? And the solution they come up with there is really, really nice. It's
Yeah, and even I want to say homeless, but
take a moment.
excuse me, Johnny. I want to say homeless, but I don't know if the character was homeless. I'm assuming he was. But the guy who was like, everybody's dead, and like his story arc and kind of conclusion is very, very good. And that scene with the tipped over train and the windows breaking, like I just so much of it is really, 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 really cool. And I think we should definitely warn people that this is a huge spoiler thing. So you know, before we get into it, but yeah, we've already gotten to it. But you know what I mean?
So much of it is thrilling that it's just going to be frustrating if they just kind of beat by beat remake it. You know, down to the train tipped over and them crawling out from under it. Like
They
mean,
will because that stuff is so
fine,
good, man.
and audiences will watch it. But like, yeah, it's a perfect template for a remake because it just fucking works, and every country's got trains.
Yep. Yeah.
God, who do you think? Oh, who do you think plays the boxer then? What's the Western casting for
Mark
the boxer?
Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg's playing all of them, buddy.
Mark Wahlberg is every zombie.
Mark Wahlberg definitely wants the part of the boxer, though.
Yeah, probably. But he won't get it. He's too big. I think who would be the boxer guy? It would have been someone.
Well,
like,
they could get Don Lee again to do the same part, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If it was the American remake kind of stuff, like, you know, and they were still alive, I would imagine something like Michael Clark Duncan,
Yeah, big man.
big guy, but like kind of, you know,
I kind of want Nick Frost.
soft. You can't have Nick Frost. That doesn't make sense.
He beat the shit out of those robots in World's End.
Yeah, but yeah, he's
That
already
film
fought.
sucked.
He's already fought zombies. Speaking of just Nick Frost and segueing into my head of Simon Pegg, when's The Boys season 2 coming out? 3, sorry.
Soon, I imagine. I don't know, though.
Yeah, it normally came out in
it's coming.
September.
2 only just came out though, didn't it?
two, but like two came out like last September. Season 1 came out September before that. So
Did 2 come out last September?
yes,
Is it out a year? Have I not watched that for a year?
yep. Also, well, okay, we should not segue too much. Train to Busan. Brian, how many thumbs out of 4 thumbs?
Out of 4 thumbs?
Yes,
3.
3 thumbs. Aiden.
I think I would concur if my option is 1 through 4 thumbs and we're dealing with whole digits.
You can do whole digits. Yeah, just say whole digits.
Yeah, I would say 3 thumbs.
I'd say 3.5.
I just said, are we doing whole digits or are we doing fractional digits?
You are. I'm not.
Okay. I would also do 3.5 simply because I think there's stuff in there that like I would have liked. I would have liked it if it got a bit more visceral. I would have liked it if it got a bit more. Some of the I think some of the effects stuff I'd like a little polished up a little bit, but like these are just minor like nitpicky things.
You are going to love the American one. There's going to be a lot more blood and guts in it.
It's going to be Mark Wahlberg and Nick Frost. I'm sold. Yeah, there was
Vin Diesel. Perfect.
As the train conductor.
It's the Rock.
As the train.
It's the Rock. Is playing the main guy. It's his daughter, and then the boxer guy is going to be
Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart.
No, that he plays his daughter. The Rock could be Ryan Reynolds. No, he's too nice.
He could play the businessman. Play
Luke
against
Evans. Yes, Luke Evans is in there somewhere.
It is interesting trying to cast that like I know you're saying like Don Lee could play him again, and he could, but that sort of like got some size to him, got a real relaxed vibe to him, pretty fucking effective in a fight. Like who is that person?
Benedict Wong.
Dan Harbour.
David Harbour.
Or David Harbour.
Yeah, I think that's kind of in my head as well. Like that's the sort of like thing I'm talking about, that sort of like just like kind of like slightly over the hill big guy.
Dad bod.
Yeah. Train to Busan is a all-round success for the passengers of the endless stream here. We recommend it. Go watch it. Enjoy it. I think we've done 2 for 2 good horror movies here. Hereditary scared the shit out of me. This was just thrilling. I was gripped. Like it takes a lot to like really just focus me in on the screen, and they did a great job with its storytelling. I just wanted to see everything that happened. The way they played with light and dark, the way they played with just the rules of their zombie world, even the environment, like scooting along the luggage trays.
Yep.
Above everybody, like
the kind of intelligent, like they weren't afraid to do like they weren't afraid to let their characters do smart things in those situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like throwing the bag, the phone, the different things. It was just like cool. People making smart choices here to survive.
I think part of why I say the like 3.5, one of the things is just like there's a lot of hitting human beings in the head with baseball bats, and I think that would be a smushier affair. And it was kind of frustrating to me that it wasn't as smushy as it should have been. Do you know what I mean? I know that I said earlier, like, it's obviously a choice that we never see one of these things go down and stay down, but part of me wanted it. Do you know what I mean?
You are going to love the American one. Love it.
Moving on very briefly, I guess. There's a couple of like outstanding business things. We need to pick the next movie to watch.
Martyrs.
Fuck you. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. I haven't seen that. Haven't seen Drag Me to Hell.
I've seen Drag Me to Hell, and I remember too much the twist.
I haven't seen The Host, but we just did Korean horror, so maybe we should just move somewhere else.
I didn't like The Host.
Ooh.
I wasn't a fan.
You didn't like Host, the Japanese or the Korean one, is it? Or is that Japanese?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was Korean. Yeah.
Korean. I think did I see that in the cinema with you, Brian? Maybe I didn't.
Suspiria remake.
Have you seen it?
What did you say? What did you say, Brian? That's on
Suspiria on Prime.
That's on Prime. I can watch that. What's that about? Is that we're going to be really now kind of? I like horror and I like scary, but I don't like kind of things that are like too real lifey.
Have you seen Suspiria?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Do you just want us to watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It may be.
Do you know how we're going to feel about it?
Yeah.
No, Dad. No.
It's good. It's good.
I just when that happens, I don't feel like we're going through something together. I feel like you're watching us suffer.
No, I'm suffering with you.
The Wolf of the Snow Hollow. A stressed-out police officer struggles not to give the paranoia that grips the small town at the bodies start showing up at their full moon.
I think we should watch Midnight Mass as well, though.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
going to watch them.
Then let's do this, right? You're right. Suspiria's got great reviews. It's been on my list for watch for a long time. It's one of those things where, like Hereditary, the makeup of the production is of such a quality that I do think I should watch it. You're giving me the excuse. I say we watch Suspiria. That's Brian's suggestion. Wolf of Snow Hollow is supposed to be great. So I mean, I would also say let's just watch that as well and talk about it as a smaller thing if you're so inclined.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If we
I'm good.
Yep.
I think that's streaming on something. I know I've seen it. I've seen it
on
thumbnail to
YouTube.
click. YouTube.
You can buy it on YouTube. YouTube is actually good, guys. For
yeah, you can
movies and stuff.
€2 and you get a rental of something.
Yeah, cool.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's the decision. Suspiria and if we get the time in, Wolf of Snow Hollow. Check out Midnight Mass. There's a bunch of Halloweeny stuff to watch. I'm going to watch the Muppets Halloween Mansion thing as well.
I think I just watched episode 4.
Okay.
But yes, episode 4. But I was kind of waiting for it. This is my own fault. I was kind of waiting for it to finish because I needed to do something. But it was a very wordy episode.
It is.
So it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't like the type of thing where it's just like, I was kind of just like, okay, like I do want to finish this, but I need to get going. So that episode was kind of a little bit frustrating, but I'm enjoying it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool.
I would say if you missed anything in that, if you missed stuff in episode 4,
rewatch it.
give it a quick watch, just even towards the end, because it pays off wonderfully in episode 5.
I remember the end anyway. So yeah.
If you think you got most of it in,
Yes.
just go ahead and watch episode 5.
Yeah.
I like it so much. Really want to talk about it.
Okay. So Brian, I'll get on it. I was going to say though, New York Comic Con this week, so I'm sure there has to be stuff coming out at this stage, right?
I'm not the.
What, you mean news or?
Yeah.
There's a DC event in 2 weeks, and I think DC are going to wait until then. There's going to be a new Batman trailer, as far as I know, but it probably won't be until, I think this Fandom is on the 20-something, and I think that's when we'll see a new Batman trailer. I think.
How did you feel about the Peacemaker trailer?
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I kind of don't care about that character.
Yeah, it's also written. Every episode is written and directed by Gunn. So.
But like,
No
why give
interest.
him an eagle? A dove is a picture of peace. Why does he have an eagle? Because he's not like he's not as like
He's not American freedom me guy.
He's not super
he's
patriotic.
fine.
He's a peacemaker. Yeah. Like it should be a dove. Like I'm pretty sure the bird on his chest is
It's
a dove.
James Gunn. So what you expect.
What there was a suggestion from Benny, Kevin. There was something we should watch.
He said Howard Lovecraft and the Frozen Kingdom.
Has your brother seen it?
I don't know, but it's weird that he suggested it to me twice now.
2016 film Howard Lovecraft and the Frozen Kingdom. Oh, it's animated.
Yeah.
Oh, Canadian animation. A young boy is transported by a mysterious book to a strange frozen realm of fairy tales and nightmares where he befriends a monstrous deep one and uncovers the secrets that may lead him home. Christopher Plummer, Ron Perlman, Sean Patrick, something or other, Doug Bradley, Jane Curtin. can have a nosy at it.
I don't know why he suggested it. Maybe he's ranking us.
Yeah. I don't know.
Didn't somebody suggest something else as well? I feel like it was a Shudder movie.
So the other note we got, and we're kind of just addressing the write-in suggestions, and we do have email for that, so theendlesscast@gmail.com, and over on Instagram @theendlesscast, you can comment and you can tell us we're wrong, or tell us if you're enjoying the movies, or suggest things for us to watch on the podcast. So Howard Lovecraft and the Frozen Kingdom looks like a sort of smaller scale animated feature from Canada. I don't know where we dig that out, but I'll have a look at a trailer anyway.
Yeah, we try and get onto it.
The other message we got was from Chris, who is upset that people, Aiden, dismiss this whole movie as awful because of a certain death in the final act. Now we're talking about Reign of Fire. I think it is a unique movie that is surprisingly grounded for a movie about dragons. Is this really a terrible movie, or does Aiden just hate fun?
Surprisingly boring for a movie about dragons.
Aiden hates fun, and Chris,
it's not fun.
Has a great soundtrack. The guys hate fun. That movie has a great soundtrack.
It's not fun. I wish it was fun. Oh my god, I wish it was fun. It's boring.
Yeah, it's so good. The scene where he's telling stories, but it's like Star Wars. It's actually Star Wars. I thought about that scene many times, and if I could retain enough information to retell Star Wars as we know, because then I could look at other things. I'm not worried about it. And we talk about dragon.
Sorry, Chris. It's very boring.